All right, so this is going to be an interesting one. If you clicked on this video, I highly recommend listening to the entire thing and listening to the first couple minutes of my monologue here before you jump right into it. I'm on a journey right now to do something really meaningful in my life, which is to build something that I've been waiting my entire life to build. The process of going on this journey is going to be one of the most incredible things I do in my life. There's a high chance of failure, and in the face of that failure, I still feel that I have the potential to succeed. Now, whether that will happen or not, we'll see. But the journey of trying to make it happen is kind of the only thing that matters at the end of the day. Tom Nash is someone who I deeply respect and someone who I've been able to build a relationship with over the past 7 months as someone who's relatively a nobody, going up and making a relationship with someone who is a somebody. And over the past 7-8 months, our relationship has materialized in a pretty meaningful way, to the point where when I asked him to invest in my company, he said yes. And this podcast, this interview is part of my introduction of not only my startup to the world, but also the relationship I have with the people who are investing, because we're not going through traditional venture capital funds. We're going through angel investors because that's kind of how we are doing it. It's very difficult to raise money from venture capitalists. And also in this market turn down, a lot of money is drying up from the institutional space. So I've had to be nitty. I've had to be very gritty. I've had to make relationships, and I've had to convince people at the end of the day to believe in this vision of the future that I see and to fund it and help subsidize my dreams and my ability to go on that chase. In this interview, there's going to be a lot of laughs and a lot of fun jokes, but at the heart of it, it's me asking someone who's much older than me, someone who is much more wealthier than me, and someone who has had a lot more life experience than me, why they've decided to give me $25,000 for me to go chase my dreams and build, hopefully, a very big technology company one day. And in this interview, Tom answers that. He answers why he did it. He answers why he ultimately believes there's a chance, even though he jokes around a lot. And he explains his logic for this. So the reason I'm doing these interview series is to show people why people are investing in the startup. We are launching a crowdfund. I think the beautiful thing about technology in today's day and age is if you have an idea and you have the ability to communicate that idea to the world might actually care about your idea. They might watch your video. They might follow you on Twitter. They might invest in your product. And we're raising a $500,000 pre-seed round. I don't know how much is left of the round as at the time of this video being posted. This video is probably being posted around mid-July. I'm recording this right now in mid-June. Maybe there's 100,000 left. Maybe there's 200,000 left. Whatever it may be. What I do know is that let's say there's 200,000 left to raise. If 200 people watching this video right now gave $1,000, we would be funded. And those $1,000 that those 200 people give, it's not just like a donation. It's an actual investment into a startup. So that means I've got to convince people. That means people have to see the vision. That means people have to understand why I'm doing this in, this crazy market, why I'm going and quitting my job and starting a startup. People have to actually understand it. And if people understand it and they want to support that, I think because of the crowdfunding model, you don't have to ask someone to give you 30, 40, 50 grand. You could ask them to give you $1,000. And even $1,000 is a lot of money. I'm very sympathetic to the fact that especially in this market, it is difficult to get people to give up money because it's hard-earned money at the end of the day, betting on something that is very risky and has a high probability to fail. So I've got to be at the top of my game at trying to execute and communicate a vision to the world, and hopefully enough people see that vision and want to financially support it and hopefully get a return on that a long time from now. So if you are interested in investing in my startup, there's a video in the description that I would watch after this video that helps you understand more about the startup. And then you can click on the wefunder link. We are using wefunder.com as the crowdfunding platform. So even if you are a non-accredited investor, you are still allowed to invest. The minimum is $100. And if you feel that there's something meaningful to the vision, if you want to support it, if you want to be on this journey and you want to be on this ride, and you genuinely think the idea and the person, me executing the idea, has a chance to win, then feel free to invest. It is risky. Startups are very risky. I mean, there's a better chance you put $1,000 into something like Google. Over the next couple of years, you'll probably make a return versus a startup where there's a chance you won't make a return. But if there is a return, then obviously it's a little bit more to the upside than a traditional stock in the stock market, even though it is incredibly risky. So this is something where if you invest, you've got to believe in it. You've got to want to believe in it. You've got to want to be on the journey. You've got to want to put your capital into me, into this idea, into someone that you think can make it big. And if you feel that, then I hope you join this journey. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching to this. This is my interview with Tom Nash, why he's investing $25,000 into my startup, and I hope you enjoy. All right. What's up, baby? How are you?
Did you just call me baby?
Yeah, it's not in a section. It's more just like, what's up? All right. So I want to go down a trip down memory lane real quick as we're starting this. So let me pop this up as I share my screen. I met you in December 2021. This was the first one we did. This is when you were gracious enough, December 19th, to give me an interview. It was a fun 37-minute one. Then we came for round 2 because that one got 500 likes. So we came here.
Yep.
Yep. Here we go. This is when Ross Gerber, everything was going on. This is January 3rd. So we were talking about a bunch of stuff.
Why do you look like Fidel Castro in this one?
I don't know, but I definitely look like Fidel Castro.
It's a good look, actually. It works for you.
It's an interesting look. I
think I like that look.
Yeah, I like the jacket. That jacket was nice on you. And you have the Shure SMF7 8B, whatever you call it. And then we have the third one, round 3. This is where we talked about basketball. And you talked about Peloton, Netflix, growing on YouTube, all that stuff. This is when you hit 275K subs. So now you have 284. So basically 10K subs later.
I'm now in negative growth since I started talking politics, bro.
Now you got to have a different audience. The stock people are done with it.
Bro, we're going to meet each other. Like, you're coming up and I'm coming down. I've lost like 400 subscribers in the past.
It's a relay race. You passed me the baton.
And then politics are costing me like so much subscribers, bro.
Yeah, but you're authentic. I mean, the people that care about you really care about you.
No, they can fucking go. No problem, bro. I don't mind.
But so December 2021, I hit you up. I'm like, yo, can we do an interview? I had like 0 followers. You said yes, of course. I've just always appreciated it. And then
that's not true. You had 1,000.
No. I didn't have Oh yeah, I was close to 1,000. Yes, I had 1,000.
Close to 1,000. Yes.
But on Twitter, I had like 0 followers, so I didn't think you were going to check the DM. But you said you never drop an interview, and for everyone who's asked since then, I mean, I
never say no. Yes,
never say no.
You see me do it for everybody.
It's a stand-up thing to do, especially in this space where it's really hard to grow, and you were able to give some of your influence to people. So, I guess my question is, we've developed a little bit of a relationship since then. That's why I called you baby in the beginning. So, why are you giving a 24-year-old who's relatively unproven in not only business but also life $25,000 for a startup?
Now that I've signed the contract, I can't take it back. I wish I could Elon myself out of this deal. It doesn't sound so enticing anymore.
I asked the question to make sure you give a funny answer. I was like,
yo,
you'd be like, I probably shouldn't.
How many bots do you have on Audea? I need to check this, bro. I'm not sure. Give me all your information. Let's see.
Why are you investing 25,000 in a startup for someone who's not proven in life yet? I haven't built anything big before this, anything like that.
I think you got charisma, and I think you're motivated, and this thing will probably fail. But for the small chance that it is, I don't want to be the guy who didn't invest in Twitter. It's like basically, so the answer is FOMO. For the 1% that this shit works, I'm gonna try. It's like for me, it's like scratching a lottery ticket. The fear of missing out, bro. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, you're really motivated. You're young. You're driven. You put your heart and soul into this, and I think people really want to follow what you're doing and follow your journey. And I feel like your personality is what's investable. So whatever it is you want to try and do with this thing, we got your back, my guy.
I know that means the world to me. The first 25,000 I got back in March, it was a guy who found me on YouTube. He asked me to send him the pitch deck. I sent it to him, and then 30 minutes later, he sent me 25K. And that was the moment where I was like, okay, I think it's time to like see how big I can expand this and actually raise this round for the pre-seed. And I asked him, I was like, yo, why are you investing? He's a CTO at some mortgage company. He's a pretty well-off guy for him to make that decision that quickly. And he said the same thing you said. He's like, look, Amit, 9 times out of 10, these things fail. But there's the 1 out of 10 where it works. And I think you're the 1 out of 10. And when he said that, it was more so this bet on me, which is what you're doing. And
exactly. Yes. It's if you need somebody who's crazy, charismatic, completely has this irrational confidence in himself. And I think you got it, bro. So I don't think you can be shaken by any failures or no's or any sort of setbacks. I think you're so confident in yourself, which obviously does not correlate to reality since you're a piece of shit. But this confidence, I think, is what's gonna get us home.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about this is, and I want to ask you a little bit about where you're at your life in a second for why you can make these bets, but like these startups, they are hit or miss. Obviously, it's 0 or 1. And it takes an individual that's ready to think they can take on the world. Because if you think about it, the way you said irrational, that's the word that sticks out to me. We're going against it's for people who don't know, and I'll talk about it more later. It's a technology company. We're going against some of the biggest technology companies in the world. They have the data, they have the money, they have the engineers, they have everything against you. So it's like, what is the one thing they don't have? Well, outside of bureaucracy, which really stops them from innovating at all, the one thing they don't have is the individual who thinks they can take them on, the David versus Goliath. And it's a bet on that individual at the end of the day. There's a good chance that individual can fail, but if that individual puts their all in, sometimes it ends up working, and it could be pretty cool.
By the way, Ken just texted me. He wants to do it in half an hour.
Okay, perfect.
I'm talking to... No, we can leave it on the interview.
No, I know.
I'm going to be talking to Chicken Genius about his retirement and comeback. Let's see.
Yeah. So if you're watching this, definitely go check that out. I'll link it in the description below. So you're at this point in your life where 25,000 to you, when I asked you originally in February, you were like, get a couple of people. If you get some other funding a bit, then I'll take it more seriously. I'll consider it. I got a decent amount of funding after you said that, and then you took it a little more seriously. But ultimately, you were like, yeah, I can do that. Are you at the point in your life where 25,000 on a 90% chance of losing that money, it's not that crazy to you? And how do you feel about wanting to take those bets with your money? Because you could put 25,000 in Google and probably double it within the next 5 years, but you're allocating that in a different. So how do you rationalize that as an investor?
I think it's a mistake. I wish I could unmake it. I can't believe you roped me into this bullshit nonsense, man. I feel like one of them women that went to a Tupperware party and comes out with like all this shit. It's like, oh fuck. No, I'm joking, obviously.
Not joking.
I think that it's a substantial amount of money, but I honestly, like, beyond the jokes, I would not make this bet if I didn't think you can do it. I think 10% success rate with the startup is very high. For most startups, I think the success rate is probably 0.5%.
Yes.
So when we say 1 out of 10 chance that this works, I think it's good odds, because if this actually works and you build some sort of a quasi Spotify competitor out of this, it's gonna be worth billions, bro. And if you don't, which is like 90% chance that it's not gonna work, then it was worth the shot. And 10% chance at making billions with somebody we think has the charisma, the personality, and the insane confidence in himself, and absolutely no life. I mean, we're doing this at 2 a.m. your time. So,
bro, people really dog on me. They're like, yo, you don't talk to girls or anything. I'm like, bro,
no, you're completely all in. I know you're all in, and that's what people want to invest in, guys like that, who like Elon in the beginning of his career, like all in. There's nothing beyond the one thing you're trying to achieve. And this, I mean, how much you sacrifice for this? Like your personal life, everything. I mean, look at this way. If this thing fails by the time you're 30, you'll have no startup, no money, no female in your. You'll have nothing. So this shit better work, motherfucker. You better make this work. Otherwise, you're gonna be the Grant Hill of startups, bro.
I've thought about that. I'm 24. Let's say it takes a good 2 to 3, 4 years to actually even get to some level of mild success. If it doesn't work by like 28, 29, you got to hang it up and move on to something. You can't forever. Yeah. So it's like at 28, 29, I quit my job, by the way. So I have no real income. There's a little bit from YouTube and coming, but like there's no real solid income.
What about your salary for Money Talks?
That's been pristine. I've been dumping that into the stock. I've been putting that into the same stock that's going to lose money. Palantir. I'll take this money, put it here where it'll lose money.
It's a sweatshop mentality over there, bro.
Shout out to Money
Indian
Talks.
Guy. Get the Indian guy to work for free.
Yo, you talk about roping you into something. You were like, hey, do you have debate experience? You want to try doing this show? I'm like, sure. I get there. They're like, so by the way, you have to do all this, and this. You're going to be up 5:30 a.m. every morning. And by the way, you're not getting paid. I'm like, oh, okay.
That's the good news.
Good indeed, boss. No problem. And I'm doing tech support every day because you can't figure out your fucking camera. I'm like, Tom, do you understand how to do the ISO?
I'm dying over here. I'm dying. Stop, bro.
Bro, my
Oh, man.
accent's not even good, yo. If you ask regular Indians, they hate my accent. It's too American.
Wow. No, it's good. It's a little bit cartoonish, but
And then I
but
go
it
to
works.
7-Eleven to get you a drink.
No, stop, bro. We're gonna get
The
sued.
coffee to start the show.
No, we're gonna get sued, bro. I have a name for our new podcast.
Okay, what's the name? Live official on the show. What's the name?
It's gonna be called "Can You Learn to Speak, My Guy?"
Yo, I've got to pull that up. No, I got to pull that up. People haven't seen. This is the most iconic moment on the history of the internet.
It's actually not a bad name for a podcast because right now everybody's looking for these catchy. So Amit and I are going to be doing a podcast together weekly. It's not going to be anything with the stock market or economics, just anything but. And everybody's going for these catchy names right now. You know what I mean? Like we can do like a horrible name, really long. That don't
That's
make
what
no
I'm
sense.
thinking. That's what I think.
Yeah.
We hope you were emotionally and physically attracted to this show today, and that your relationship with the show grows to be a long-term relationship with a lot of commitment. Thank you for watching. We'll see you
Can you learn to speak?
What was that? Okay. You know, actually, I'm gonna sign. Oh my god.
to talk like a human
being? It's good.
It was, can you learn to speak? It was iconic because it's just this idea of like, can you learn to speak? Like, what's wrong with you? Can you actually speak? So
no, but you go at such a fast pace. When you speak so fast, you're like, I mean, that's the honest answer, not the jokes. It's impossible to not make mistakes when you're like a machine gun, my guy. Like you go fast, like, you don't speak slow. Somehow, that's I think what people like about you. You manage to speak fast and still not swallow and slur any words. It's still your articulation. It's like maybe that's the debate.
Yeah, no, that's it. Debate. I used to speak like 600 words a minute in debate. So
because like you speak fast but super clear.
Yeah.
The cost of doing business when you do that is just sometimes you have these little mistakes.
That's why I got the 2015 championship, Ridge High School in New Jersey.
That's super cool, bro. That's
fun.
hard. Like debating is fucking hard. Tell them. Like I don't think people understand how difficult debating is, bro.
Well, so like I want to bring this back to the startup. How important do you feel communication is from the founder in terms of getting the world? Because like the biggest thing, I mean, Peter Thiel has said this. It's like the product is great, but if you can't find distribution, you could have the best product in the world. And to me, distribution means in this world in which Bloomberg and the New York Times can't get the level of traffic they're used to getting, how can you pierce through the noise? And I think as a startup founder, you've got to have the ability to communicate, get the world to care.
I think when you'll have exposure, like massive quantities of exposure, which you don't have right now, and people get to see you. Like every single friend I have that I care about their opinion said that when they saw you either on Money Talks or my channel or your channel, that there's something about this weird ass looking guy. It's something like we like him.
Yeah.
So people tend to respond to you. I never heard anybody say, "Oh, well, I met this guy. I don't like him." Sometimes we see it in the comment section in Money Talks. But it's like 1 in 100, and I sometimes suspect this is people trolling, bro. Yeah, it's probably your mom. Just trolling the comments.
She's trying to get me a salary, so she's trying to like put this.
No, but I mean, like, there's something. It's all about. Okay, so let me answer seriously. You want to, so your product, platform, whatever it may be, needs to get in front of people. You know, one way to do it is to raise millions of dollars. Tens of millions of dollars, and invest in client acquisition. Yeah, client acquisition cost. That's why client acquisition costs are through the roof for almost any new
Facebook CACs are like $5 right now. It's like ridiculous.
It's very expensive, but you can do it. The other way is spend $0 on it, like Gary Vaynerchuk did. Gary V had $0 spent on building his exposure and his distribution network, and now he's reaping the benefits. But I mean, for years and years and years, he's been on the grind. Yeah. I mean, you took yourself from 0 to 6,000 followers on Twitter organically within like a year, which is super, 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 super hard. You're getting traction on YouTube at the hardest time to get traction on YouTube right now. So your channel is slowly growing. You've built like a community of loyal viewers around you that love you. That's the hardest part of it. I think if we actually give you some money and let you loose out of the zoo into the real world, right, I think you'll build a big following and we'll be able to actually distribute the product. Because if people care about, like, think about it this way, like Gary Vee, nobody cares about the company. Like why?
Yes.
It's all about
It's
Gary.
an advertising company. It's not that special.
Yeah, but the name gets out there because of his personality.
Yeah.
Like he'll do the crazy shit, the garage sales, the lemonade stands, like all the wacky shit like normal CEOs would never think about doing. And I feel like you have the same mentality. I mean, you'll do crazy shit for no absolute compensation.
We are planning to travel to every single city in America and pitch random people on the street my startup. And there's 19,000 cities. So
I think that like it's like you're a combination of Gary Vee and Mr. Beast. And I think this combination is going to work nicely on YouTube and on social media. And I think we're going to get a lot of eyes on you. And people would absolutely. I said this in Twitter a couple of days ago. I tweeted.
yeah, it surprised me. I saw this.
Yeah, I think you're going to be a billionaire someday. I said this on Twitter. I think you have what it takes. You look, you're 24, you're young, but I mean, I give you 10, 15 years. I think you're going to build a nice little empire. It's going to be fucking epic, bro. So I cannot not invest in the chance of that happening. Like most likely you're going to be driving a taxi, let's be honest. But I mean, there's like a 10% chance you're going to be a billionaire. So I'm playing that card.
Why taxi, not Uber? Do you think taxis are going to go back in style, or like? You think it's my namesake? You think it's my birthright to do a taxi or something?
Well, I don't know. I always imagine you in this yellow cab kind of setting with like the dice hanging off the mirror and shit, like the little like things on the seat. The little balls that spin around on the seat.
I know. I see.
Like you have to have like wearing sandals with socks. Like I imagine you like the Amit, the friendly neighborhood taxi driver, or Amit, the mogul. Both, I think, equally as plausible and possible. I think your insanity, madness, and motivation, and willingness to sacrifice will make the latter happen, bro.
Yeah,
I mean, you don't do nothing. What do you do except just try to make this happen? What do you do?
Well, yeah, going to your point a little bit.
Can you learn to speak, my guy?
You learn to speak. I basically I have a consulting firm and I have one major client. So it's like a 9 to 5, but it's like a more consulting relationship. And I've had them for about 2 years. And I got this idea October 2020. By November 2020, found my co-founder. So I convinced a guy to take 50% equity, no money, and take this 23-year-old's vision at the time. I turned 23 20 days after I got him. And to go build a startup. And it's like, so when I got him to agree in November 2020, I was like, oh shit, I can actually convince people. Cause like I convinced this guy's an A+, but he's been 29 years software engineering. And he's like giving up major opportunities to go build a startup with me. I'm like, okay, so there's something about the idea, something about my communication style. Then over the past 6 months, we get about 1,200 users that post collectively about 5,000 times on the platform. And I'll talk about the platform in a second. I'm like, oh shit, people are actually posting. And like, how did I do that? As you said, just grinded it out. I sent 60,000 emails by hand because Google has this like email ad blocker. So if you try to use some automated service, I tried to do it blocks your account. So you have to send it by hand, did all that. And then going to the investor perspective.
That's the Mr. Beast part of it.
That's the Mr. Beast. Yeah. Saying Logan Paul 100,000. I mean, I literally, when I say 60,000 emails, I have I can screenshot the Gmail. It says,
I know you're crazy, bro. I know you did it manually. I can, yes. You're crazy. That's what I was saying.
And you know how I got all those 60,000 emails? Because there's this website that scrapes podcasters' emails off the internet, but they only let you copy and paste them off their website for $8 a day. So either you buy it in bulk for like $1,600 or you pay $8 a day. So I paid $8 a day for 15 days. It was like $150. And I sat there for 24 hours and manually copy and pasted 60,000 emails. So my client acquisition or my cost per lead was like 0.8 cents, which was amazing.
Yes, amazing.
But then I had, you have to sit there and you have to do this boring ass fucking manual. But I did
that. Then, Gary Vee did something similar with Instagram?
Yes, he had so many tactics of responding to people for years.
The 2 cents, remember the
2 cents, the $1.80. Yeah, leave your 2 cents on 90.
Talk about it. Explain to them about it because this is exactly what you're doing.
Well, so he left his 2 cents on 90 different posts a day. So he called it the $1.80 strategy.
You know how hard it is to comment 90 times, bro, with actual thoughtful comments?
Yeah.
It's as hard as sending 60,000 emails by hand, bro.
And then so that was October, March 2021 till November 2021. Then I started YouTube November 2021, made 2 Palantir videos. They did really well. I realized this was a niche. I realized this was a community. I obviously already had 25 grand in the company. I always was a stock market junkie. So then I started pumping about 5-6 videos a day on that to really develop the audience. And then March is when I started getting the investors. And so what I'm saying is, going to your point, is at 24, I think I've been able to develop a work ethic of doing really just things that don't scale in the beginning. And the money that I've been able to raise, I think, has been a manifestation of people kind of seeing that, and they're willing to take that bet.
And you live a very Spartan life. Like, you don't, you're not motivated by money. You don't own any shit.
I own nothing. Well, so this goes to the next point. And this I really want to get your perspective on it as someone who's older. I, as a sophomore in college, deeply started thinking about the problem of death. Like, I started realizing, when I turned 20, I was like, oh, fuck, I'm going to die one day. Like it's like, I'm not going to be here one day. And that led me to do things that my friends went to JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, they got the 6-figure salaries. And I was like, you guys are unhappy. I know you're unhappy. You guys go to happy hour every day to try to get happy, and happy hour can't make you happy. It subsidizes your happiness. I'm going to actually get happy by go chasing a vision that I think is crazy, but I know the chase is going to make me happy. Can you speak a little bit about like doing things at a young age that you know have a high probability of failure, but you still need to do it in order to create meaning and purpose in your life?
Yeah, I did the same thing myself when I quit, my guy. That's the whole point. When I quit, it's a dumb decision. It's not smart. If you're older, you have a family, you have kids.
Right, you had a family when you quit for YouTube.
I had a mortgage, bro. I had absolutely no alternative.
So what was your? Do you think
I didn't quit for YouTube? No, I did not quit for YouTube. I quit, period, because I quit. Like, I can't do it anymore. By the sheer luck of God or whatever happened, bro, YouTube kicked off right when this happened, bro. It was an accident.
So what was your plan when you quit? You were just gonna.
I had no plan. Like, I felt like I was about to die if I stay one more day, bro.
Wow.
I could not do it anymore. I was done. You know, when some sports people, like, they quit because they say, I can't do it anymore, period.
Yeah.
Couldn't do it anymore. Done. Can't. Work for a decade in corporate America, bro, and you will understand exactly what I'm talking about. It's a bunch of zombies. Anyways, so luckily, I did like you had the Palantir videos. I did like a couple of videos about Dan Bilzerian. I owe Dan Bilzerian my career, bro. It's not even funny, bro. If Dan Bilzerian does not exist, I probably am fucking working in McDonald's right now. It's not even funny, bro. I quit, and the way I quit was very colossal. So I burned every bridge, so I will not be able to come back. When I say I quit I burned bridges, bro. I really burned bridges on purpose.
And why did you just hate your coworkers?
I went to No, I didn't hate my coworkers. I did it intentionally, so I would never have an option to go back into this industry. I went ahead and I told every single person, like, of the partners I used to work with, what I really think about them. I sent angry emails. I basically burned all the relationships, so that also everybody will know that this guy is not hireable. I did not want to ever do it again, bro. Because it's tempting to go back and the money's good. You know what I mean?
Right. Because I'm assuming the money was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I was like.
And so, how did your family react? I mean, I'm assuming your wife was like, she was probably upset a little bit.
Yeah, I told her, I'm gonna die if I'm gonna stay there. Do you want me to die? I feel like I'm gonna die. I cannot do this anymore, bro. I don't know how to explain to you this. It's not a metaphor. Anyways, I left. Then the fucking Dan Bilzerian videos, which was kind of just a therapy for me. I was so fucking relieved not to have a job. I was like, thank God, bro.
It was like unique investigative journalism on your part.
I was just fucking around with Dan's company because it was a shit show. Like, it makes Lucid look like a legit company, bro. It was so crazy. I was like, how can people not see this? So I made some fun videos about it, made some people laugh, etc., and took off like crazy, bro. I remember one of my friends who lives in Australia called me up, like, oh, your Dan Bilzerian video is fucking popping. I said, yeah, so yesterday it was 70,000 views. I said, no, it's like a 200-something thousand views overnight, bro. Like, it went crazy. I said, oh, wow. And then I made like 57 of them just to like jerk off on this algorithm. Like,
yeah,
Dan Bilzerian. You know the algorithm, bro. Like, you have to like there's like a diarrhea of videos on the same topic. That's like Meet Kevin did this with the
With COVID,
stimulus. It
yeah.
was stimulus checks. Yeah, and that's how it all basically. The same thing happened with the what's his name, Matt Kors, and the AMC community. He both
Yes,
got
yes.
same. It's the same idea, bro. It's
So
it's been
ultimately,
done.
you were motivated by something bigger, and you can resonate with that type of vision.
Definitely. I did the same thing, and I had my stakes were higher, bro. You don't have
Yeah.
kids.
Yeah,
You don't have a family. I doubt it if you ever, will taste the scent of a woman because you're so focused on your startup, bro.
Well,
You
the thing is,
don't
I
date.
had a girlfriend during college, and that ended, and I was like, all right, I experienced it. Now I want
I've never seen anybody more committed and dedicated all in into a crazy idea that's most likely would not work. That's infectious. That's why people investing money so easily.
Yeah.
It's very unique, my guy. And that's the sort of thing you see with Elon, with Gary Vee. Like, there's a few people in the world that did Mr. Beast to sit there and slap himself 10,000 times. You remember that fucking video, bro?
Yes.
Like,
Be
when I see you, I see these guys. Like, I see like Mr. Beast level of commitment, bro. You will do anything for this to work, bro. Literally, and you will crawl through the sewer, bro. Like, there's nothing you would not do, and I think that gives you like a pole position on success with this, even
Yeah.
though like most of these things fail. But I think yours is gonna just your personality is what I'm investing in.
Yeah, and those people were motivated by much more than money to do those things because they just want it at all costs at that point. Last couple questions.
None of them was motivated by money, bro.
Yeah,
If you think about it, they
Mr.
all
Beast
wanted
gives away all of his money. He doesn't give a shit.
No, but it's not that they were altruistic. They had other things that drive their ego.
Yes.
It's like me. You know me. I'm not motivated by money. I mean, I'd like to have more of it, but like I get off on the attention.
The first thing
want-
you told me in that first, I asked you in the first interview, I was like, so how much was your first YouTube check? Because I wanted some juicy info from you, right? And you were like, you stopped me right then. You were like, it's not about the money. When I saw the size of 2 football stadiums watching my videos,
yeah. That's what gets me, bro. It's the attention. I'm an attention whore. That's why people go crazy when they go to reality shows. They have all this attention, then they come out and there's zero attention. They go crazy, bro.
Yes. Yep.
That's what scares me. I don't mind not having money, but like losing the attention of like people like listening to you. That's like my biggest fear because that's so addictive, bro. It's
Right.
I would do this for free just if I just was able to speak to like stadiums.
Right. And you have the personality to do
insane.
so. Yeah.
I just love it so much. You can feel it when I'm on camera. I love it, bro.
Yeah. No,
second of it.
that's the one that you get. The one that I've seen a lot. I saw the new interview you did today with Anthony. He was one of the first guys I did an interview with, and I gave him that interview because when he asked me and he had like 0 subscribers or whatever, I remembered what you said. You were like, never, like always give your time.
Never say no. Yeah.
Never say no. And when you were doing the interview with him, within the first 3 minutes, I started at first 3 seconds because he was like, I'm here with an expert. And you're like, no, don't call me an expert. It's like you just vibe with people. You naturally get people to like you and talk.
Yeah, man. You know who I learned this from? And actually, he ghosted me. I emailed Keemstar a long time ago when I was just starting out. And he's like, yeah, I never say no, I'll do it. And then he blocked me. Or no, he didn't block me. He ghosted me. Sorry, he ghosted me. He's like never replied. So he never did the podcast with me. But I thought to myself, wow, if I ever gonna make it, I like that style, but I'm actually gonna follow through with that.
Right.
Keemstar, if you're watching this, you're a piece of shit. I love you though. No hate.
All right, I want to ask you about the idea for a second. We're essentially creating a recommendation engine for spoken word audio at scale. We see a gap in the market where audio content is not going viral. It's not gaining distribution. You've been in the audio world for a while, even though you're on YouTube. You know what it feels like to make podcast content that kind of sits on audio platforms and dies versus on YouTube. It's alive and it's thriving and it's finding you new subscribers. So how do you kind of feel about the idea itself, an algorithmic audio search engine?
I think it sucks like your hair, bro. Who cares?
That's why I wore a hat. I knew I made sure you couldn't make fun of me. I was like, I wear that. Like, what's he gonna say? Like,
oh my god, put it on!
Hey, do you want me to turn emo?
Oh man, what the fuck? You look at Sasquatch. What the fuck is that?
This is who you're giving 25 grand.
Oh man, can I use this footage to cancel the deal, bro?
Imagine Elon making fun of Parag's hair. He's like, yeah, he would tweet that.
No, I think the hair is part of the appeal. I think the product is very interesting. Audio is very, very strong. Podcasting is very, very strong on the up and up. I think what every product right now in the industry that deals with audio and podcast long format misses is the beautiful, sleek suggestion algorithm that YouTube has. The
Yes.
first one to actually do it will make a lot of money. Now, Spotify are not incentivized to do it. They don't couldn't care less. They could squash you like a bug if they actually wanted to, but they're not interested. They have a different business model. They couldn't care less, bro. So I think that right now it's yours for the taking. I'm aware of anybody who's doing something like that. Once you will find success, there will be competition. But
Yeah,
we
there'll be
tackle
a
this
lot of
problem when we when this happens.
Right.
Success has a lot of copiers, bro. But right now the market is wide open. Nobody's doing like algorithmic based suggestion mechanisms for audio at all. It's a wide open market. I think a lot of people who ghosted you will be sorry, bro.
I would tend to agree, and the reason I say that is because I've spent 2 years deeply researching this space, and for two things. Number one, for anyone who knows anything about audio podcasting, RSS feeds, which are the industry standard method of distribution, are what every app uses, which doesn't actually create a suggestion-based AI machine learning network effect type of business. It just like Lex Friedman podcast is everywhere, but the reason he's growing on YouTube is because YouTube's actually able to recommend him because they have network effects. So that's what we're trying to create for audio. Number two, what you said about Spotify is very interesting as well. I think Spotify in the music business is kind of crappy because a lot of the streams, the royalties go back to the record labels, which is why they decided to go into podcasting so they could own some IP that isn't owned by Sony and UMG. But the problem is if you're going to become a Netflix of podcasts, which is essentially what you're doing when you're buying all these podcast companies and podcast superstars, you're not giving creator, like the Tom Nashes of the world aren't getting the Spotify real estate of attention if Joe Rogan is. Whereas YouTube doesn't care. YouTube's like, yeah, if people click on Tom Nash's video, we can sell an ad against it. Boom, we'll put Tom Nash in the home feed. So I think Spotify on that premium subscriber model is a little bit different of a business incentive than the advertising model.
I'm pumped to see this play out. The main problem with this is the network effects.
Yes. Can you explain network effects for people who don't know what it is?
No, it's just a term I use to make myself look smart. I have no idea what it means, bro.
Okay, I'll explain it. A network effect.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Network effects is basically, you know how you go to a social media platform, or let's say you buy a video game, right? Or you buy a console, whether it's a PS5 or an Xbox. How do you decide if you want to buy an Xbox or PS5? You're going to buy the one that most of your friends are on because you want to play with them online, right? So that's network effects, but it's kind of the chicken and the egg. How do you create network effects without having network effects? It's kind of it's like the same thing. Okay, how do I get a credit card? Well, you need good credit. How do you get a good credit? Well, you use a credit card. Right. It's the same problem. So the chicken and the egg problem is super hard to solve. You can hack the system if you can Gary V yourself into attention and say, hey, I'm not talking about Audea, I'm talking about a myth, but hey, just so you know, like this is like part of the package, and people inadvertently kind of find out about it and then it explodes out of the stratosphere. That's one way of doing it. The other one is just going to like Anderson Horowitz, getting like 100 million and just putting into advertisement. I think your way is cheaper if you're willing to sacrifice 5 years of your life or going crazy on that, like Mr. Beasting this. So that's the whole point why I want to do this. Now, as far as hold on a second. Okay, I muted myself for you this time. Anyways,
he burped.
No, I did.
We're listening to this. He burped.
No, how do you know?
If you're listening to this on Audea, he burped in those 5 seconds. It was a
no, it's
burp.
muted. There's absolutely no proof that I did. I might have just.
Last question for you. Thank you for this interview. It was fun. I enjoyed it a lot. What is your best piece of advice for me over the next 5 years?
Quit.
I'm gonna make that a clip.
Delete your account.
Just give up. Go get a job.
Just give up.
Not gonna work.
Listen, paint all of your body in blue and go jump in the ocean, bro.
That's not the worst. If that TikTok goes viral, that video goes viral. I'm on this journey for the next 5 years. What is your best piece?
I'm the world's best demotivational speaker.
Yes. You could build a career out of that. You could get on stage for hundreds of thousands of. You could do the anti-Gary V.
Yes. The world needs an anti-Gary V, bro.
You know when Gary V has all these videos talking to like 37-year-olds. He's like, "You've got time. Why are you worried?" You would go up to that 37-year-old like, "Motherfucker, you're done."
You're dead.
You're dead. I don't know what you're doing.
Quit. Why do you get out of bed? You hate your life. You hate your wife. You hate your work. You hate your dad. You hate your
And
mom.
what's wrong with your hair? Could you imagine Gary Vee going up to people like, yo, your hair is fucking ugly?
This would have been like a funny parody channel of Gary Vee, like completely like doing the same style of editing and the video and having like chase him around and people like, but just the verbiage is just completely fucked up, like we just did right now.
Yeah. Okay, what's your advice for me over the next 5 years of building the startup to become $1 billion empire?
Yeah, just don't change, bro. Stay relentless, stay motivated, and just stay irrationally confident in yourself despite what everybody else is saying. I call you the Steph Curry of startups because he can shoot like 0 out of 10 and come back and just shoot like nothing happened next game, bro.
Okay, there it
It'll
is.
be fine.
I appreciate it.
Okay.
Thank you so much, Tom. Have a good
Don't
day.
lose my money.
Yes, I'll try not to.